This is The Spot, a BYU-Idaho radio production where we talk about what you're talking about at BYU-Idaho. Today's hosts are me, Isabella Salazar,
Nix Johnson,
Andy Ordonez,
Brogan Houston,
Jesse Richens,
Valerie Coles,
and Robert Harris.
The views and opinions of this podcast are not that of BYU-Idaho Radio or the university, and are solely the opinions of the hosts. So this is our last episode of the season. So today we have all of our team on, and we're going to talk about tips for being a student in Rexburg. So we can go around and say how long we've all been students here. I've been here for about 4 years, almost 4 years.
I've been here on and off since 2016, but I've been here year-round for 3 years now.
I have been here for about 4 years. It's going to be 4 years, yeah.
I'm about 2.5 right now, but I'm graduating this week.
Yay.
Lucky
Woo!
you. I've been here about 4 years as well.
Dang. I don't know how long. Oh, I've been here for 4 semesters. So how long is that? Like 2 semesters before
2 months.
formation?
2 years?
Yeah, 2 years, I guess.
I think I've been here for 3 years, something like that.
Okay, yeah, solid. So we've all been here multiple years. So hopefully we have some helpful tips. We'll see.
You're credible.
Yeah. Okay. So first we're going to talk about saving money and time and really just kind of saving yourself. So I think Rexburg is a bit infamous for the parking situation and the booters specifically. So Brogan, can you tell us a bit about that?
Okay, I'm going to go off for a second, you guys. So the best way to save money in Rexburg has everything to do with having a car, but it has nothing to do with gas or insurance or car payments or whatever expenses you have on your cars. Booting and parking tickets in Rexburg are ruthless. Like, you can't go anywhere without getting a parking ticket or a boot or something like that. I've been fortunate enough to not get booted ever here, but I've gotten a couple parking tickets for things that, in my opinion, weren't very justified. Like, you know, they have those little university parking street signs, but they'll have one on every street, and so you don't see it because it's at the other end of the block, and so you don't even realize that you can't park there until all of a sudden the dude on the Segway comes and places that thing on your dash, and there you go, you're done. The other one is on campus. They're pretty ruthless as well. They've got those hounds going around at all hours of the day trying to look for people that are doing things wrong. And so, I mean, I've gotten a parking ticket one time for parking in a visitor stall because I thought, oh, I don't have a parking pass. I'm a visitor, right? Yeah. Turns out there's fine print on the sign, and you have to.
There's no students.
Yeah, exactly. You have to get up close to read the sign. You can't see it from the street. You have to get up close and read it, and it says no students, no faculty, no family members of students or faculty.
Yeah, the family members, like, what else are they supposed to do?
Yeah, exactly. And who is using those spots? I have no idea.
Yeah.
What's that?
Oh, no, they don't park on visitor parking.
Yeah, no, exactly. So,
Yeah.
So if it's nobody that's going to be on campus, I don't understand who those spots are reserved for.
Just like delivery drivers or something?
I guess, yeah.
Who else?
Special guests of the university. I don't know. But
Students who are seeing if they want to come here. Or?
yeah, but that's my little rant. I've wanted to say that for a long time. I've said that in private conversations every day.
No, I'm with you. I've also, you just really have to be careful. Like, one time I was visiting a friend who lived at the Roost, which used to be student housing, but it isn't anymore. And I was there, my car was there in their visitor parking, and it was like past midnight, and then I got a boot. And so I caught them while they were doing it. So I ran out there, and I was like, wait. And they're like, oh yeah, we already put it on. So we'll take it off for half price right now, 'cause you're here. I was like, okay, but also how does this work? And they're like, yeah, we just, 'cause it's community housing. So curfew, well, yeah, it was because of curfew, but curfew didn't matter because it was community housing. And they said that they had a contract with the previous owners when it was student housing, and they are just continuing to do it. So even if it's not student housing, you just really have to be careful.
But I heard that if you are married, because I am a beggar, I'm please, I have no money. And they're we're so sorry, we can't do anything. But if you're married, they'll give you a discount.
On a parking pass?
On what?
On taking off a booter.
No way.
Because they're like, unless like you're married, then like we'll do like accommodations. Like,
Really?
are you married? And I'm like, I can't be.
I was married when that happened.
Do you
I
want to
want
get
to
married?
fact
Just
check
kidding.
here. We should get a special guest on from the booting services.
We should. They're like just dead serious. Like, nope, can't do anything. But I think it's so true because I've sometimes tried to invest in. Well, I'll be like, I'm not going to get a parking pass because I'm just going to park on the street, $45 for a city pass. Or I'll just make my way through and just like keep moving my car between like the hours, which I know lots of people do. But at the end of the day, yeah, you get booted at least once or you get a couple tickets and it ends up being as much as paying for a parking pass.
Exactly, yeah.
And so I would just now look back, I'm like, I do this every time. And I should just get a parking pass and just save money for not getting tickets. And so that's an advice. If you're debating, oh, maybe I can just move my car, I can just make the hours work.
At
just
the
get a
same
parking
time,
pass.
though, it's like if you live in a spot where you don't need a parking pass for campus, don't get a parking pass for campus because the lots are so clogged. You're going to have such a hard time finding somewhere to park in the first place. I live like probably a 40-minute walk away, so I have a parking pass just because I don't want to make a 40-minute walk like 6 times a day. But there's been times where I've been like half an hour late to classes because there's just nowhere to park, not a single spot.
Yeah, in the end, it's faster to walk anyways because of how long it takes you just to find a place to park and how busy it is.
It's true.
Get that exercise in.
It's Rexburg. It's small. Just have fun. Look around. Talk to people.
The thing that we haven't mentioned, though, we talked about booters like outside of campus. I don't know if many of us are aware. You can get booted on campus as well. And it's the nice thing about campus is that, like, well, not nice, because campus is weird with their tickets. So I'm like really infamous with getting a lot of parking tickets. Everything that Val has said is absolutely right, yet for some reason my brain doesn't click. I've had this semester, I kid you not, I've had 8 parking tickets, and it's ridiculous. And this semester,
Why was I leading this section
That's
out?
so
Come on,
true.
Andy.
I thought I had a lot. I have like 3.
no, I and may Be Real. If anybody follows me on Be Real, I kid you not, every week I show my parking tickets.
He's like,
It's bad. So the reason why I know a little bit about this for the campus one is because I think, man, I could risk it this day. I'm only gonna be here for an hour and a half. I can risk
Gosh,
it.
I could
And
never.
I've learned the times that people come and like give
No
tickets.
way.
Like it's
Studied them.
yeah, it's kind of nice, but at the same time, you have like an anomaly every once in a while. Anomaly where people just come and just like randomly, like they just change the pattern per se. Yeah, they do something that's not on the pattern, and I get a ticket every once in a while. But my first ticket on
8
campus
is not
was-
every once in a while.
You're right.
8 is every once in a while.
Well, the first 4 was learning the pattern. Okay.
But just this semester.
so if you don't want a parking pass, just talk to Andy. He can teach you the pattern.
Yes. Well, no. But like the first one was $5, and I'm like, oh, this is easy.
Oh,
I could
nice.
take a ticket. It's all right. $5.
My first one wasn't $5.
Mine was like 25.
Oh, well, it depends on where you park as well. That's the other thing. For those that are parking on campus and you're risking a parking pass, again, please don't do what I do. But if you do, just know that every parking spot has a different fee. So if you're parking in 30-minute parking and you pass that limit, there's a certain, I don't know them by part. Yeah, but it's like what, 25? Yeah. If you park on visitor parking, when they find that you're not a visitor, it's a $50 parking. And if you park on a place where you don't have a parking pass, I think the first couple ones are lower price, so it's like $5, and then it'll jump up to $10, and it'll jump up to like 25, and then it'll jump up to 50. Right now, I have a parking ticket for $80, and it's bad. But there's a moment when you don't pay on it, and they see that you haven't paid on it yet, and so they'll just boot your car. Luckily, it doesn't cost anything to remove it, but they want you to pay for it. So just keep that in mind.
You are so informed about this. We're glad to have you here.
My
I should
first
major on
parking
this.
my first parking ticket was not $5. So I take offense to that.
Yeah, that's just pretty crazy. I went and interviewed someone the other day, a couple people. Actually, Isabella's husband, and I talked to him. I just asked him a tip that he had, and he actually talked about parking as well. So obviously, I mean, it's a very infamous thing here. So I'm just going to play his soundbite here.
Tip I have for college students is get your parking early. If you don't, your parking lot at your complex might fill up and you'll be screwed. You'll have to park at Walmart.
Yeah, it's true. Even like, because you need a parking permit for your apartment complex. So you need to get on that. It's not just going to come with it a lot of the time. And yeah, it's funny that he mentions Walmart, because that is like the one place that we know for sure you're not going to get a ticket or a boot. It's just not very close to, where you need to be.
I mean, I will also mention Mesa Falls. You won't get a ticket there either. If it's non-covered, you can just park there.
Nice.
I've seen some booted cars in Mesa Falls though. There's been some. I live right across the street from there, and there was a motorbike there that was booted just a couple weeks ago. So I don't know. You're never safe anywhere really, except Walmart.
Except Walmart.
Just go to Walmart then. But yeah, my wife also in the past, she lived at University View, and she didn't have a car, but her roommates did. And the permits sell out so quickly. Mm-hmm. So it is like, you have to get those permits as soon as you can to park at your own place.
Yeah. Is that the place that has a shuttle?
Yeah. That place also does have a shuttle. Yeah. And they can take you to, I think that shuttle takes you to campus. But also, I guess since we're kind of on the topic of Walmart, Walmart does have a shuttle as well. They take, I think there's 2 stops on campus, I believe. There's one kind of by the MC, the upper roundabout where they go. And this shuttle's for free. It'll take you to Walmart. I don't know the exact times that it runs, but I believe it's like every hour. They kind of just go back and forth. So they can take you there if you don't have a car to go shopping, and then they'll take you home. And then another tip I have for Walmart, this one's pretty big, is when to go shopping there. If you're thinking about going between like 4 and 6 o'clock, just do not go. Unless you enjoy standing in line for 30 minutes, then go for it.
And not being able to walk in the aisle.
Yeah, it's an absolute nightmare because, I mean, college students, we all shop for the same things, so we're all down the same aisles. So yeah, anywhere between 4 and 6, just avoid it. If you can somehow go in the morning, it will be empty because everyone's in classes. I know it kind of sucks to go shopping in the morning, but it's worth it here. And then if you can't go in the morning, like 8 to 10 is also pretty chill there. So at night.
Or just go to Winco. It's cheaper.
Yeah. You have other alternatives. Obviously, Brolam's is a little bit more pricey, but Albertsons is another choice.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like, some places are cheaper than others. So, there are also some advice we have for saving money while you're here. And one that I have used on occasion is the Family Crisis Center Food Bank. They give out boxes on Wednesday and Fridays from noon to 1. And you just have to show proof of residence. So just any piece of mail that you've received, that works. And so you can go once a week and get food there.
Are these food banks like for free? Like they give you a whole box for free?
Mm-hmm.
And what's in there? Like just cans?
There's there's cans. There's all times there's cake or like donuts or something. And there's milk and meat. Yeah. And like fruit, vegetables.
Do you have to be like poor or like?
No, anyone can go.
Because we're all poor.
We're all below the poverty line, trust me.
Okay, so that makes sense. So we can all go. Dang.
So I have a friend that occasionally volunteers there, and he said that a lot of the time they end up having to throw out some of the food as well. And so it's not like, don't think, oh, I'm not poor enough to go and get it. Like, they're gonna throw it out anyway. Go and get it anyway.
We should all run there after together and go get a box.
And where is this food bank again?
It's at the Family Crisis Center. It's right by the Romance Theater in Rexburg. And you just go to the back. So don't go to the front. Go to the back. There's a big mural back there. And then just wait in line and they'll help you out.
The Family Crisis Center also has a thrift store in their basement. And depending on the day or the week, I can't remember exactly what their schedule is, but they have 10-cent days where a certain selection of their clothing is on sale for 10 cents per piece. So if you're really struggling to like find something to wear or anything like that, if you're struggling financially, they also have those options too.
And I think they do that all the time because they rotate their thing. So if something's been out for a while and no one's bought it, then they'll reduce that price.
Me and Andy are shook. We're like, what? Are you kidding me?
See, Nick said, like, if you're struggling for something to wear, I'm not struggling, but for 10 cents, that's...
Well, you're probably struggling with all those parking tickets.
Oh no!
I did not think we were gonna go there.
We're going there.
But you could go, like, just grab your friends, like, go thrifting, 10 cents, go grab some food, come home, and you're like win-win. Food
I know.
and clothes.
Serious.
Andy, you need that. Come on.
Apparently for Brogan, I had to pay my parking tickets first.
I also know that Jesse, you talked to your wife about another good way to save money.
Yeah, there's this. I talked to her and I did a little interview with her as well. I have a soundbite here to play, and she's just gonna share a little bit about what she's found.
My tip for Rexburg is for you to join the Buy Nothing Project. It's a group on Facebook specifically for Rexburg, and you can ask or donate things there, and people are usually very generous in the area and they respond pretty quick.
Yeah, so it's a pretty cool little page that she found. I think everyone knows about like the garage sale thing that you can like buy stuff, but this one is literally like people like are donating things and asking for things. Sometimes it's a little ridiculous. Sometimes people ask for some ridiculous things and they're obviously not going to get it. But I mean, if you need something simple like maybe a chair or something,
Yeah, I use it a lot, and it's called Buy Nothing Rexburg, and you can post and request things, or you can give away things. It's really nice. Even sometimes I borrow things. Like just a week or two ago, I was going camping and I didn't have a cooler, so I just said, hey, asking to borrow a cooler, I'll return it on Sunday. Someone offered their cooler and I returned it, and it's really great. That's something I really like about Rexburg, is just the community of like sharing and helping each other out.
I was just going to say, that's something that you wouldn't find pretty much anywhere else. Like, hey, I don't know you, but can I use your stuff? And yeah, I promise I'll give it back.
Yeah,
like,
just the trust is really cool.
So Rexburg gets a lot of negative comments about it for mostly the weather, a little bit of the landscape, that kind of stuff. But the community is unbeatable. I don't think there's a better community out there.
Oh yeah, like how many times have you guys like lock your car doors when you guys go somewhere?
Gosh.
Or like lock your apartment? I don't know. I'm speaking for myself. I don't ever lock anything. Maybe please don't find my car, but I don't lock anything because I'm like, I don't feel like someone's gonna come and steal something from me.
So if you want free stuff, Andy's address is.
You can find my parking tickets and go ahead and pay them.
Yeah.
So
Probably won't be able to steal his car. 'cause
What's
it's
the
booted.
make and model of your car?
Let's not worry about that.
Yeah.
The booters know it.
I think people should lock their stuff, but it does kind of speak volumes of how safe it is in Rexburg that you've been able to do it this long, Andy, and not have any issues. So I would still say lock your stuff, but this is a very safe place, so you don't have to worry about much in that regard.
I agree with Brogan. I think lots of people do think like, oh, it's so small, there's nobody there, there's nothing to do. But it's so true. Like, I don't think in any other community or school, you can be like, oh, we trust you. Like, yeah, let's just borrow these things. Or, oh, yeah, I'm selling these things. Or getting advice even from each other. Also, like, if you do steal something, you probably will see them on campus. Like, you're like, oh, can you give that back, please, by the way? Like, because it's so small, you will see each other. But I think that's the nice thing about here, is that you can actually gain relationships with people, and that's how you get connections, is just by getting to know people,
Yeah. And Brogan, you kind of briefly mentioned the weather. For people who have not been to Rexburg before, I would say probably 6 months out of the year is snow. So we also have some tips for that as well.
Yeah, so I'm from somewhere where it doesn't snow. I mean, I think a lot of people from here are either from places where it doesn't snow or it does. And there's a lot of Californians that don't know how to drive in the snow. So if you don't know how to drive in the snow, just don't. It's not worth it.
I have a great piece of advice. If you are up here and you've never driven in snow before, but you need to learn a little bit, imagine you are in your car with your grandmother, who's in her nicest Sunday best dress. It's new. It's brand new.
Holding an ice cream cone.
She's actually sitting in the passenger seat with a crock pot full of gravy that has no lid. That is how you drive in the snow.
I love that. That's good.
Another thing is, this is going to sound really dumb, but I promise this is serious. Go to an empty parking lot in the wintertime and lose control of your car on purpose and see how it feels to slide
It's scary.
and figure out how to control your car. Do it in a big enough parking lot that you're not going to slide into the curb or a light post or anything like that. But that's how I learned how to control my car, because you are going to slide eventually. It's inevitable. Like, you're going to hit black ice at some point. And if you stomp on the brakes the second you start to slide, guess what? You're going to start sliding even more. And so, yeah, find an empty parking lot or side streets or something like that and just learn how to control your car when it starts sliding, because it's going to happen.
Yeah, that's a legit piece of advice. They had me do that in driving school, and I'm from Idaho, so we did that, and I took it in winter, so learned how to drive stick shift in a foot of snow. And so that's like a legit piece of advice. They take us to an empty road, they'd have us go, and they're like, slam on the brakes. I'm like, what? They're like, slam on the brakes. Wow. And I did it. They're like, do you see how that felt? That's how it felt like to slide. And so that really, really was incredibly helpful.
I love that. That's great advice.
Yeah, no, it is very important. I mean, I think the main thing is just speed. Like, everyone thinks they can, the speed limit says 25, but when it's snow, like, never, you could literally go 5. Like, I think it's fine. People will be patient because of how scary it is to drive. Like, except for Robert, apparently, shaking his head.
No, I'm
over here.
shaking my head because I still know people who will not follow the speed limit, even during the snow.
Yeah.
The classic saying is, oh, I have all-wheel drive or I have four-wheel drive. And it's like, neither of those things are going to help you to stop in the snow. They might help you gain traction. They're not going to help you stop or turn or anything.
Oh yeah, like I agree. I have just a front wheel drive car, which is probably the worst thing to have in driving the snow. And on top of the fact that I'm from Florida, I have never seen snow.
And he's
until I
struggle
got
busting
here.
right now. Dang.
But like I'm bringing all this up because I know that when I first got here, me and some people from Florida, we were scared of the snow. We were scared of like, oh man, what if we get in a crash? What if we do this? Or so we just avoid driving in the snow, which honestly, it's a good thing to do if you're not comfortable with driving in the snow. But my advice is just don't be afraid. With every advice that we're giving you out here, it's like to prepare for driving in the snow, so you can be a better driver. Because at some point in the future, you're gonna have to learn how to drive. Like, I feel pretty confident, even with my crappy car. I feel pretty confident in driving in the snow because I'm used to it. I'm familiar now. Like, okay, if I go this fast, this is what's gonna do to my car when I hit ice, when I do this, when I don't do this. So it's just being mindful and being aware, and also just having experience. And you're not gonna get experience if you're not out there, like, learning. So please find an open parking lot and just experiment.
I really think if you don't need a car, just don't bring one or don't use it. Like what Rogan was saying. I had a winter semester here and I had my car, but it was parked. But I literally just walked everywhere anyways, because there was 6 feet of snow. If I park or go outside, I can't even drive. It's gonna take me a lot longer than just walking. And they do plow the streets, but I feel like only to a certain time or limit. Then they just stop plowing it because it snows so much. And so you have to warm up your car. Then you have to try to get out of the snow. You have to go drive slow. You have to wait for people walking. Then you have to go find a parking spot. Then you have to take off the snow off of your car. It really doesn't, there's no really benefit unless bring a car, unless you're going to drive somewhere super far to go to work, or if you have somewhere to be. But besides that, you really don't. And Rexburg is so small. You guys were saying you can walk 15 minutes anywhere or get anywhere in 15 minutes because it's so small. So really bringing a car isn't beneficial unless you really need it if you're traveling outside of Rexburg to go somewhere.
We're talking a lot about a car and how to drive and stuff like that. I think we're forgetting the main thing about the winter or just the snow and all. It's just your clothing.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if people realize it is windy out here.
It's
so just
hard.
Please wear proper winter clothes. I've seen people, myself included, sometimes wear shorts as they're walking out there, and I'm
in the winter?
Yeah.
What is wrong with you?
Well, I did it mostly because I talked to my professor, and he's like, "You wouldn't do that." I'm like, "Bet." So,
you did it too.
Yeah, shout out to Brother Henderson.
Oh, it would be him.
Yeah, it was brutal, but
it was worth it though.
100%. The bragging rights I had in class was incredible, but the frostbite didn't help.
Yeah.
Purple legs.
Yeah. But I don't know, again, for the listeners out there, I'm from Florida, and a good winter coat was a lifesaver for those days where it was -10, -15, -20. There was a day where I remember, last year or 2 years ago? I think it was last year, where with wind chill, it was -40, and it was brutal. And I'm like, why am I out here? But I just made sure I had my scarf on, I had my beanie, I had a giant puffy jacket. Some people, it looked like they were making fun of me, but I was like, I don't care. I'm staying warm.
Yeah.
So just like make sure to wear proper attire.
Yeah, that's definitely a legit thing. So, background about my family: we have a business making prosthetic limbs and orthotics, and so we'll like, because patient rules and stuff like that, I cannot confirm or deny. But there may or may not have been people who lose fingers and toes to like frostbite and stuff like that.
No
Not from
way.
Rexburg, like specifically, but like that's like a legit concern. And not to like scare people, but you definitely like if there is something that you do not want to skimp out on up here price wise, or something where you want to save up for a good winter coat, good winter shoes, and good winter socks. Like you like legit need those. So if you're coming up in fall, be prepared.
Yeah.
And if you're here in fall semester, remember that it ends in December. So even though it's going to be nice out when you get here in September, it's not going to be nice out by the time you leave in December.
It's usually by like the first week. Like you have the first week that's nice in fall semester, and then like after that, it just out of nowhere just pours snow. You're like, what? And then it doesn't end. And then it just starts, and then it doesn't end till literally maybe February, March. I don't even know when.
Like
I would
May,
say
June?
April, perhaps.
It snows for a long time.
On a lighter note, there are also like some apps that the school has that can help you know about activities and whatnot. So it's called the I Belong app, and that has a list of events going on every day. There are workout classes, there are service class or opportunities, there are workshops, dancing, all kinds of things like that.
I agree with all those activities. I think when you come to Rexburg, lots of people think, what is there to do? There's nothing to do. But those apps, like you can look up and like, what should we do today? We can go to a workout class. We can go to an activity. Even in like the snow, they'll have lots of activities. So there's always an activity for a season.
And there's indoor stuff too. I know there's like D&D clubs, if that's what you like. There's like video game clubs. There's every sport you could imagine. I mean, yeah, like everything. There's also societies and different things that can relate to your career and major and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I found my D&D group from that app. It's cool.
Yeah, and like Brogan mentioned, the societies, it has a whole list of, if you go to the groups tab, it'll like you can search for things and it'll populate all of the societies. I think there are a lot that we just don't know about. So that's a really helpful resource as well.
And while we're on the topic of societies, I'll just mention that that is one way that you can really solidify your resume. I know maybe it's probably freshmen listening to this, and so this is a good time for you to start thinking about your resume and your work experience and your portfolio if you're in a major that needs a good portfolio. That's something that I've noticed. The people that I know that have gotten jobs straight after graduating have been the people that have spent extra time out of school going to things like societies and participating and building portfolios and doing all that kind of extra stuff, because then they have all this experience by the time they get out into the work field. We always see those job postings that say like, oh yeah, must have a degree and 3 years worth of experience, but you just graduated, and how are you going to get those 3 years worth of experience? Guess what? Lots of these societies can give you that 3 years worth of experience. Just a little tip.
I wish I'd known about that. Jeez. Can we go back in time? Because I ran out of time. I'm graduating.
Yeah. There's also another one is, at least when I first came to campus, I was so lost. I didn't know what all the buildings were. I didn't know where to find anything. And there's the BYU-I Student Life app, and it has a map. And you can plug in, I need to go to the Ricks building, and it'll populate a walking path for you. So that's another one.
Also, Google and Apple Maps both do that as well. I don't love their walking directions. It's kind of hard to like figure out where to turn because, it estimates where you are and stuff. But it is an option if you are really lost.
Yeah. Another thing that we have on campus is devotional every Tuesday.
I feel like devotionals make or break your semester. Don't skip out on them. Like, go to devotional 11:30 every Tuesday. Go with your friends, right? 11:30. Okay. You guys are both shaking your head. I was like, right, are you guys? Okay. But 11:30 every Tuesday, and I feel like my first semesters, they really just uplifted me. Every single time I went, I was like, ugh, I don't want to be here in Rexburg. It's like, what's your why to be here? I'm like, and they would just teach you. Or if I was struggling, if I don't know what to do for my major, then I go to devotional and they're talking about decision making. And it always just helps you. And I think if you're coming here to BYU-Idaho, that's one big major way you can receive like just the spiritual energy or spiritual insight while you're here. And so go with your friends. And even if your friends can't make it, go by yourself. It really is just a testimony builder. And I think it helps a lot with your semester.
I have a cool story, actually. Yeah, I went to devotional for the first time in a really long time, and I was like, okay, well, I'm going by myself. I actually loved it. I actually really, because the thing is, there are moments where I might be going off the norm here, but there are moments where I just feel like I can't connect in Devo. Like, I just feel like sometimes people are talking about things that don't relate to me. But this time, I was like, when I was listening, I was like, wow, this is actually really good. I actually really enjoy this. I feel like I needed it for this moment in my life right now. So, not to give out that cliche spiritual answer, but there are moments where, like, when you go, you're like, wow, I needed that for right now. And even if you don't have those moments, I feel like they're still good for you, like, spiritually. And it's a message that if it didn't apply to you, you can share with somebody else in the future. So
I love that. So there are also some cool resources on campus as well that can just help you out in a lot of ways. And one is the alumni discount. And you don't even have to be an alumni to use it. You can still be a student. So if you can just Google BYU-I alumni discount, and then you'll find a page it's on the school website, and it just has a list of really cool discounts and just benefits of being a student here. They have baby gifts where you can submit a form, and it'll just have you put in like your name, email, like if it's a boy or a girl, maybe, and then they'll send you a gift, which is so cool.
Jesse's like, where is this?
Taking notes. Yeah. So it's super cool. And then there's also insurance as well. There's like Liberty Mutual Insurance, USI Insurance. And then you can also get car rental discounts as well through Enterprise, National, and Hertz. It just has like a code that you can put in when you go to rent a car, which is super nice. And there's also travel discounts. You can get discounts at the Wyndham hotels and Days Inn, Ramada Worldwide, Howard Johnson Travel Lodge, and it's super cool. There's also benefits just like in the Rexburg area as well. You can get 10% off at the university store. And then also, once you graduate, you can use the Hart Building and the iCenter courts for 50% off for a day pass. So, yeah, there's a lot. It's really nice. So
where do we find this? Like, if I want to go and rent a car, let's say, how do I go and find the code to get 10% off for a car rental?
It's just on the alumni benefits page on the school website, and it'll give you those codes. So
I would just go on Google and search up alumni discounts or alumni BYU-Idaho.
BYU-I alumni discounts, yeah.
I feel like not a lot of people know about that. That's really
they don't.
Cool.
Yeah.
I hope for our listeners they take advantage of that.
Mm-hmm, definitely. There's the Mac Lab on campus as well.
Oh, yeah. I use the Mac Lab all the time. For a lot of my classes that I'm in, I use the Adobe, what is it called? Yeah, Adobe Premiere.
The Creative Cloud.
Creative Cloud, yeah.
Okay.
I use the Creative Cloud, and I use Photoshop and Illustrator because I'm a visual comm major, so I use a lot of that stuff. The Mac Lab is so nice because with several of those things, there's like a lot of different like shortcuts, and there's just a lot of different things that you can do with it that aren't really able to be taught because there's just so much going on. But when there's a Mac Lab assistant there and you're getting stuck on something, you can just raise your hand, they come over, and usually they know quite a lot about what's going on, and it is incredibly helpful. And I also really like where in the Mac Labs they have the, I think you pronounce it Wacom computers that have the pens attached to them. So if you need to draw something, you just take out that pen, it's connected. You don't have to try to draw with your mouse. It's so really helpful. Cool. And those computers are beefy. They can handle like a lot of change, a lot of data going into them without freezing up.
That's really nice. And yeah, it's the whole Creative Cloud that you have access to for free. And you don't have to be a visual comm major or anything like that. Anyone can use it.
They also have 3D printers that are free to use. I believe you pay for your own supplies. Is that right? But it's dirt cheap it's plastic, right? So it's dirt cheap. so they have that. And then the other thing that I found useful there is my computer for some reason doesn't let me use Proctorio, which is like a proctored testing website that a lot of classes use. And so I went to the library and I was like, hey, like, can I use this Proctorio thing on the computers? And nobody was able to help me out. Like, they were all saying like, oh no, our computers don't let you do that. We can't do that, blah, blah, blah. And then they made a few phone calls and figured out that the Mac Lab is the only place on campus where you can do Proctorio tests. So if you ever need that, it's there.
I think the Mac Lab is so cool. I've gone there for Proctorio tests too. And it's honestly like an aesthetic place. Like, it's just a little room downstairs, the first floor. And they do have really nice computers. And it's pretty chill in there. Like, there's nice, like, the lights. It's very white, good computers.
So for my senior project, I used a decent amount of the Mac Lab and even the edit base out on the Sporey building to be able to finish my senior project, which is like a little show that I did on YouTube just for like soccer, like covering all soccer on campus. And it was really cool because I don't have Adobe Premiere Pro on my computer, but it was really nice in using those things to access it. And like, I learned how to, edit stuff. I've never used that application before. I had people to help me out, and it was really cool. Just a new experience to learn. Okay, this is how I edit this. This is how I guess like to add the audio and to do these graphics and this. And it was just a really cool experience to have tools on campus that are for free that you can use to help you finish those projects and those activities.
I am not like a video or anything major, but I've checked out equipment just to like shoot a video. I don't know if that's wrong either, but I've used like the lav mics. I'm like, oh, I need to use this for something, so I'll borrow it and then I'll return it.
And was that through the library or?
Yeah, I just go to the Mac Lab and I say, hi, do you guys have lav mic, or do you guys have this extension that I could use, or this adapter? Like, yeah, you can borrow it. Awesome. And I'll return it the next day.
That's super nice.
I didn't know they had that. That's cool.
Yeah, you can, or cameras too. Like, it's good.
Yeah, that's amazing. I know that there are also some accessibility services that campus offers as well.
Yeah, that's something I've definitely taken advantage of, which I didn't at first because I was just being stubborn, which is kind of ridiculous. But I was like, I don't need help. I can do this by myself. But I've had like a past couple head injuries, which have led me to be like, I have some issues with like, reading and math and things like that. And I was being really stubborn and didn't go to the accessibility and disability services, but going there has been so helpful because even if it's something that maybe, I guess you could call it a bit smaller, like just having extra time on a test where I can just read through the questions as slow as I need to make sure I'm reading them correctly, or if I'm taking a math exam and I can double check all my answers and make sure I didn't flip numbers or things like that. It's so helpful. And then if you need help from professors as well, it just opens the door to be able to receive more help, where if you turn in that form at the beginning of the semester and you go into your professor like middle semester and you're like, hey, I'm really struggling with this, they can say, I see that you've turned in this form, which then allows me to give you these extra exemptions or extra accommodations that maybe won't be available to other students. So it's kind of ridiculous if you are struggling to be as stubborn as I was, and I can say that because I was stubborn.
Can I extend this also to something that isn't quite disability but is something that some students need like this? So I wanted to bring up shaving exemptions as well, because we all know that BYU-Idaho doesn't allow you to have facial hair except mustaches because it's unprofessional according to the school. And so the thing that a lot of students don't even realize is that you can get a shaving exemption, which allows you to have facial hair and still go to the school and use the testing center and use the eye center and the heart building and all that. And so if that's something that you need, and they do it by need only, so if you have like shaving rash, or some people have like uneven skin or that kind of thing, and it makes it really hard to shave all the way down to the skin. So go to the student honor office in the Kimball building, and they'll get you set up with a beard card, and you have to meet with some people and prove that you have some need for an exemption. But for those who need it, it's there. Because I have an exemption because I have like a little bit of beard rash, and so if I shave every single day, my face is just going to be covered in like these welts and stuff, and it's not great.
Yeah, it was the same way. I put it off for so long because I was just like, whatever. But it's been a lot of help just to get it done, and it's really nice. even though you have a beard exemption card, they still say you have to trim it. It's whatever. But it's yeah, it's worth it.
Robert just wants to look like a Viking.
White polo guy.
Yeah. I mean, that's how it's how it is normally is when I'm not at school. I grow it out when I'm not at school. So
I just think it's great that the school has so many things where it's hard to make an education super specific to each individual person because there's so many different things that happen. But this school truly does their best. And like, I feel like they do a good job of it with like shaving exemptions, academic advising, which is another one that I love, which I actually used to hate that. I had a advisor several years ago, and he and I just did not see eye to eye about several things. But then I went to the dean of students, and I talked with her. At the time, it was a different dean of students, and we were able to get things switched around. And now I love academic advising because I love my advisor, and we're able to talk about things. We're on the same page, and it's great to be able to receive that help. Like, I don't know about any of you guys, but trying to get my grad plan all organized is a nightmare. And she just walked me through it like step by step and was like, these are the things you need. Let's just put in some placeholders for some of the things that you want that will be easy to change later. So there's so many resources on campus that are there to help you as an individual in cases where most other situations wouldn't allow you to be helped in that way.
Yeah, and we also, we mentioned the Mac Lab, which is located in the library, and the library also has a lot of cool resources. Even if you just go to the David O. McKay Library website, there are databases you can access. You can get free music for videos or anything, and there's like a movie streaming service too that you can access for free. So there's a lot there as well. And we also have a quiz that we can quickly do. Compliments from Andy.
Yeah. Cool. So this is a little fun quiz that I got trying to summarize all the things that we're going to talk about for today. So number one. So question number one for this quiz is what is the price of getting a boot removed? So
Andy, you should answer this one for us.
Well, I'll let you guys try first. So we have A, $60, B, $70, C, $80, and D, $90.
I say C, $80.
See,
I'm going to say 70. I don't know.
Same.
that's too cheap.
I had a friend who I know got it removed for 80, so I'm going to go with C.
Okay. C is right.
It used to be 70.
It used to be 70. Yep, you're
Inflation.
It's
right.
always C. That's another tip for you freshmen out there. The answer is
Yeah.
always C.
It's always C. I wish they gave like warnings.
And this actually goes into question number two. And actually, Isabella gave the answer earlier, but it was just the question of where is the Mac Lab located? Because a couple people don't know where it actually is. They know of the Mac Lab, but they don't know where it is. So answer number one, it's the Sporty Building, B, the MC, or 4, the McKay Library.
Wait, so we went from 1 to C to 4?
I'm so
Is that right?
confused.
Just answer the question.
I'm gonna say library, but I didn't even hear the first option.
That's all you need to worry about. It's the library. It's the McKay Library.
Although there is a secondary Mac Lab in the Spory that is usually used for classes, but it does have other hours that you can go in.
true.
They're just more limited.
Where is that? The Sporty?
Spory, main floor, near the south side.
Oh,
That's crazy. I didn't even know about that, but I got a semi-right answer. Cool. All right, and this one is a true or false question. Okay? So, true or false, getting a city parking ticket is the same as a school parking ticket.
false.
Like same price or?
Yeah, same price.
Same price.
I'm going to say no.
Because
if
all the lots are different prices. So you're wrong, Andy. It's false.
You're right. I didn't know how I was wrong.
I don't know how he's wrong either.
I didn't know how to answer.
Because the question you said was true or false, and it was false, you are wrong.
Yeah, there we
guess
go.
So. But the interesting thing about, because we didn't talk a little too much about the city parking permits, I can go off about tickets, but the interesting thing about it is that, like, first you start off with $25 and you have 15 days to pay that $25. And if you don't pay it, you get $50 on it. And if you don't pay that one 15 days later, it turns into $75. And the police department can go ahead and tow your car at any moment.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I have to pay him right now. Oh my gosh.
Oh, there's Val's car in the parking lot.
No way.
Getting towed.
I get him like, I'll just pay him the end. Like, it's fine.
No,
way.
yeah, it's bad. I
So
learned
they
from
can-
experience. It's
They can tow your car from wherever it's parked.
from wherever
They'll
it's
find
parked.
it?
They find it, yeah.
That's intense.
Oh my gosh, I'm so scared
Yeah,
now.
so pay your parking tickets, guys. Please, please, please. All right, the final question, which is I think the best question of all. And we didn't talk too much about this, but it's about study places. So this is a question that is not an opinion, but more so a fact. What is the best place to study in Rexburg?
Okay.
You have A, the McKay Library, 2, the Crossroads, or D, Starbucks.
Wait, what was the question?
Starbucks.
What's the best place to go study in Rexburg?
The McKay Library.
Starbucks, because nobody's there. Maybe.
I'm going to say the library, but I think Andy will say Starbucks.
Yeah, I say library, but Andy's going to say Starbucks for sure.
It is 100% Starbucks.
Fun.
It is a nice place. You can go get some food if you want to. And you can be distracted. Don't get coffee.
So when you say you can get food there, are you talking about like the little plastic samples that they have in the window?
Maybe, maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah, the $16 cake pops that are one bite.
It's just a nice place to go study. That's my opinion.
And the
Since-
smell. I could tell, like, the smell. It smells good.
Oh, yeah.
They have
like
free
the
water. That's nice.
Hydrate.
Low calories, 0 carbs.
They'll even give you a code to use the bathroom.
And guys, yeah, you guys think about it. You don't get a parking ticket there. You don't get booted.
That's true.
You don't have to buy anything. It's a nice little aesthetic place. It's a great place to go and study.
I like it. Thank you.
I feel like these are like tips on how to save money from Andy. But then Andy's like, also, I have to pay these parking tickets still.
You've been listening to The Spot, a production of BYU-Idaho Radio. Today's hosts were me, Isabella Salazar.
Nix Johnson.
Andy Ordonez.
Brogan Houston.
Jesse Richens.
Valerie Coles.
And Robert Harris.
The views and opinions of this podcast are not that of BYU-Idaho Radio or the university and are solely the opinions of the hosts. This episode was edited by me, Isabella Salazar. Producers were the hosts with supervision by Brandon Isle and Natalia Hepworth. Our theme music is Finding Happiness by DJ Quads and The Perpetual Ticking of Time by Artificial Music. To listen to more episodes of The Spot, like and follow us on social media or visit our website at byui.edu/radio and click podcasts. Be sure to subscribe to The Spot podcast wherever you get your podcasts and leave a review of the show and leave a comment on what we should talk about next.